I've always believed that a lot of the youth sold out, at least for the portion that because they're part of the show. Those guys, I mean.
But there was, you know what? Part of the show, but I think there was a real sentiment there that leaving that place was selling out.
Right, the mom and pop sort of thing you were helping grow.
And I heard it. I heard it in my first several months in WWE, the you sold out chants, and then as WWE started incorporating some of that style that ECW was known for, those chants started getting weeded out. I mean, but at a certain point, it was strong enough to where when I wrestled Shawn Michaels at Mind Games in September of '96, like I had to go out there like, before the show started and cut a promo, asking Uncle Paul not to drag me back to the Don't make me go back to the bingo parlor, Uncle Paul. Don't make me go back. Just so so we can get people,
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
60, 79, thoughts on Miz as champ?
He is legitimately the champ, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So I did see that. I haven't watched the show. You know what? I think if they give him the ball and let him run with it, I think he's going to do a good job. And that's a moment where you take somebody from being an entertaining, mid-card guy. He's apparently crashing through that glass ceiling. I think he's got a very good chance to be a huge star.
I'm with you on that, and I actually think that, frankly, we haven't had a vulnerable heel champion in a while where people think he could lose.
Yeah.
And the fact is that they thought maybe like Jerry Lawler at 61 had a shot to beat him. People, I think, will pay money because they're going to think, well, if he fights Cena, that's going to be a title change.
And they want to see him, even if he doesn't lose, they want to see him get his ass kicked.
Yeah. They don't like him. They really don't like him.
I think it was Cornette who pointed out to me that the Road Warriors stopped doing as big a business when they started matching up with guys who were almost as big as them.
Powers of
that they drew the most money and got the most interest when you had a hot heel team that they just knew were going to get destroyed by the Warriors. So I think that's a good guy. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. But I think it's a good choice, and no one can say they're just sticking with the.
Okay, certainly fresh. That's all you can ask for.
Great. Another good question. Free Beer wanted to know, where did you get the Mankind voice from?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I used portions of that when I was Cactus Jack. I look back on it now, and the voice was a lot shriller. I don't know exactly. I do know that when I was thinking about how to make that transition, I was influenced by Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and by the music of Tori Amos, which I hadn't even considered until I had this, Tori Amos renaissance that really, remember I came back and I supposedly had played the piano, and that's why I had the mandible claw, because I'd broken every finger but two with a hammer, and that I never really went back to that. But originally, and that's why I was the only wrestler who had the separate intro and outro music. And it was the gentle piano music that made me feel at peace.
When you say Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, do you mean the actual book or the Kenneth Branagh movie with Robert De Niro?
The actual book. It was dark and gothic, but it was that idea of the kind of the outcast in society.
I would say he was more the Lord Byron than myself, personally.
Barry DJR said, will you ever write a Tatum Brown sequel, which is one of your fiction movies?
Rob Reiner was asked about writing a sequel to, doing a sequel to Spinal Tap, and he said, generally you don't make a sequel to something that's a failure. Even though it's revered, and I'll tell you, Jericho figured out the secret to the success of that movie, of the characters and the story. No, I don't think so. I mean, Tatum Brown actually would be a prequel. A guy named Tatum showed up in my second book, Scooter.
There you go.
But he was a really interesting character to write. He was an amalgamation of different wrestlers that I'd met along the way on the road. And even some critics who, kind of savaged the book itself would grudgingly say that was a cool character. But Jericho said, the secret to Spinal Tap is that no matter how ridiculous, this is countering Leslie Nielsen, where the secret was everyone else would put over what he said. in Spinal Tap, no matter how ridiculous it is, nobody ever dismisses anything that was said.
Right.
You know, that it's...
It's like shark sandwich, 2 words, shit sandwich. It doesn't say that.
Yeah, come on.
Genius.
It's rather picky, isn't
That's
it?
a genius. I mean, the answer is none. Very more black.
And this is a sort of a double question on combining two people's. Dreams of Hardy wants to know what your favorite TNA match of the year was, and also Nat Pick Neg wants to know live or taped better for TNA.
Live is always better. I mean, it's not feasible right now.
Right.
But one of the drawbacks of going live when we did on Monday night, it was, you know, you could feel it in the air. There was a difference. You know, there was an excitement. And then when we taped the next day, it was like...
Yes, we were without a net.
You really felt that. You really felt the difference. Like all the energy had been sucked out, not of just the room, but of the people in the room. Like they understood it was much bigger to be on live. Instead of getting the stragglers who've been sitting through, you know, walking around the park and are looking for some air conditioning, and the jaded fans who've seen everything. You got people who really wanted to be entertained. So that's an easy one. And Dreams of Hardy, who's a good kid and owns some Mick Foley artwork. And not artwork I did, but artwork from my walls that I, you know, was...
But he didn't really come to your house and steal this.
No, this is a young lady.
Gotcha.
She's a big fan, and I had said, I know, you know, online, I don't know what forum it was, but I said instead of going to the, giving it away to Salvation Army or whatever, that I had some artwork that had meant something to me that was on the walls for several years when I was a child and wanted to find a good home for it. Kind of like the Toy Story 3.
Right, yes.
And this is, that really connected with me because I want to find a home for all my stuff, you know, instead of keeping it in boxes. So she was able to find a home for me, and her question was?
Her question was, what was your favorite match of this year from TNA, outside of your own, of course?
You know, let me think. Throw some good ones at me.
Well, the Guns Gen Me stuff.
The Guns 3D stuff was good too?
Beer Money.
Guns Beer Money.
Well, the Guns Beer Money, that's best of 5.
Yeah, and if I had to pick one, I would say that last match they had was my favorite
Which
match.
is the other were gimmick, and the last one was straight. The
last one was straight. And to show you how good those guys are, you could point to... if you're saying that the one with the Dudleys, with Team 3D, was on that level... then that puts them on that level with Beer Money, 3D, and the Generation Me match, to me, was spectacular at Bound for Glory.
Back to the point, when we first started watching TNA, the nice part about it was they had tag teams again. And real tag teams, like I remember the Killer Bees being in the British Bulldogs. And, you know, really great, entertaining matches to go along. And so it's good to see them still focusing on that. They went away from it for a little while, but I think they know that's something that makes them unique and good.
Again, you're different, ultimately.
Do
you ever think real quick, and I understand the logistical reasoning behind why you wouldn't, but that they would maybe benefit from mixing up the tapings, and I would say, and I understand the travel cost here, but if you did Universal Hollywood and Universal Orlando, and almost had the two crowds feud, and different guys are over in different arenas, just to give it a different flavor, because I do think that the This Is Awesome's gotten stale. You don't buy it.
It doesn't have to be awesome to...
Yeah, right. It just gets it sort of verbatim. And I think that at some level, it might not... I understand all the reasoning against it economically, but... You know, another part of the
travel costs. I thought you were going to say going out to arenas around the country.
I think you can justify that.
That'd be really interesting.
You're in a park, and so I design it different. In fact, I'd almost say it like you have one that's almost more of an intimate, heel-friendly kind of place, which LA is more likely to be. And then you have the Impact Zone, which is cleaner. And by the way, it could have played into the feud for Control. Bischoff could say, "Well, screw you, Dixie. Are you gonna?" I think they have a storyline now where she's got an injunction. Fine, you go to Orlando. I'm going to Hollywood, and then take them. Because I also think, frankly, someone should open up an LA office and be the LA promotion, because that's a huge glaring hole. I don't know. It's sort of a spitballing thing.
That's all the questions I got. I mean, there's a lot of really good ones. I should try to combine.
I got one last sort of thing for you, real quick, and then we'll start wrapping up. You're starting your own promotion today. Who are the 5 guys, let's say under 30,
oh, man, that's
in the business you're drafting?
That's something I should have had.
Sorry about that.
This is tough. This is one, I should have that list too. When I asked a similar question. Who are they young and rising?
Who you like?
Who are the young? All right. So we need someone right around 30 who's a veteran. It's tough because if I see Beer Money and the Guns, there's 4 guys right there.
I'll count you. I'll give you them as teams as well.
Okay, I'll give you. All right, give me those 2 teams. Is AJ 30 yet?
Gotta be.
Gotta be, right? Yeah. So he's no longer a young man.
You can count AJ. I'll give you AJ. Say 35 and
Okay, so say AJ, the Guns. There's There's 3. AJ the Guns. Let me think real hard. Lethal was on the right path a while ago.
I feel like they've gotten off that.
You got way off the path. Help me out with the name there.
Sheamus?
Oh, okay, I can take it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would say, take Sheamus and Wade Barrett. And then,
I think Barrett's got a hell of a future.
He does.
That guy is, they put a mic in his hand, he is a natural with presence from the jump. Got terrible finisher, but other than that, that's the least hard, other than the FU, the worst looking, like doesn't hurt at all finisher. It's not even a Samoan drop. It's insane. But I think that's not bad at all. Do you ever see the day, I mean, even as a consulting creative level, you would want to go in and dictate storyline stuff? You have such a mind for it.
You know, I wouldn't, consulting would be good.
Right.
I would never want that.
The full pressure.
That's too much pressure. I wouldn't enjoy that. But I would love to go in. I mean, I think if someone actually watched this show for 2 hours and saw some of our concerns, which are legitimate concerns, you know, these are things that are easily fixable. You know, I mean, if we're saying, you know, from the wrestling perspective, I'm saying, or from the perspective of the show itself, give us more wrestling, less interviews and angles so that all of them mean more. That's one thing. Yeah. 2, make your guys mean more when you have the chance. And make people understand why
the way you shoot them. Because one thing about TNA, when you shoot guys and you show that your interview area is a set and it's not real, it just ruins the entire mystique. You see cables getting shots. That should never happen from a production sense. It's a producing thing, but that should never happen because it breaks that suspension of disbelief.
I like, for example, when they do the post-match interview at ringside.
Yes.
You know, when WCW did it after every match, that may have been too much. But people still remember those promos, and there's a sense of drama and an adrenaline rush a guy still has when he's had a match, especially if he squashed somebody. To do it there and take it out of the stale backstage atmosphere. I like what Eric and Hulk have done with some of the realism, but not everything has to be shot.
Did you see the WWE Throwback Raw they did?
Yes.
Okay. Having Gene on that stand in the crowd doing interviews is such an easy fix, and it makes such a difference. Just have that little pedestal, because you also get the shot where your guys look like they have a coliseum around them. Yeah. Again, it's a production thing.
And they look like everyone's looking up to them, and that's just a subconscious. They're looking up to an idol, or they're looking up to something, and that makes a difference because you don't see that a lot.
Well, I will simply say this, and we'll start wrapping up. That it is probably inevitable that at some point in my career, I'm going back to go do something in the business. Probably my own promotion at a point in time or something.
After we make
before the movie's done, and you can come and consult anytime. Even if you're a WWE Hall of Famer, it's okay. But real quick, where can they find you online regularly? Where can we get everybody? Obviously, go get the book.
Yeah, you get the book. Countdown to Lockdown. I really appreciate it. I'm on tweeting at Real Mick Foley. I believe the Facebook page is Real Mick Foley also. And if anyone out there wants to contribute or knows somebody who's been sexually assaulted, honestly, go to www.rain.org.
That's fantastic.
R-A-I-N-N?
R-A-I-N-N, yeah.
Also, your friend Shelley in the room says hello. So,
hi, Shelley.
Which
Shelley are you talking about?
I just said Shelley says hi. Being told to say Shelley says hi.
It's not Shelley Martinez?
I didn't see, is it?
Okay.
No, most people use...
It is Shelley Martinez.
Tell
so there you go. So he says hello as well. Well, we love having you come in. We're definitely excited to figure out the streaming of the story stuff.
Okay.
You are part of the family here, so we'll take care of that.
And the stuff we did was live, so all that negative...
Oh, no, it archives. That'll get seen, I'm sure. We're both going to get shit.
So let's
go back. Getting the email.
And watch Impact on Thursday night.
Yes, exactly.
Watch Impact on Thursday night.
Again, I think anything we say has been, very constructive in terms of any of our criticism.
Yeah, we're fans first and foremost.
We want the product to
succeed. Said with all due respect.
I don't...